Yagami's mind is broken beyond recovery. That maniac laugh shouldn't really sound like that. One that makes you feel something seriously off about it. Even if you can't quite put your finger on why, trust me, that laugh reveals more about Light Yagami than most scenes in the series. He is a character with a really unique psychological makeup, and the way that character develops makes even a grown-up pause and think twice. Most people think of Death Note as a chess game for geniuses, but they're missing what really makes the series a masterpiece. It's actually a portrait of a particular psychological breakdown that was already happening even before Rook dropped that notebook. If you've been thinking that way so far, it's time to change your perspective. So, grab your pens, let's dive deep into his mind.
But here's the part most people completely miss. Light was a smart guy with top grades and scores, the kind of academic record that makes teachers hold him up as the standard everyone else is measured against. But inside, there's a void. Take your class topper, for example. You'll notice that whenever the results are handed out, and trust me, if you look at their expressions, it gives you the vibe that they already expected it. Where, for someone like Light Yagami, his inner thoughts in the first episode really hit you with a suffocating emotional intensity. It's because he sees the world as completely rotten at its core. It's not just what a typical teenager might think, but more like a genius who's already finished the game and decided it wasn't worth playing. For Light, there's nothing left to climb toward. And with nothing left to prove, his mind doesn't know what to do with itself. And that's where the things start to go wrong. Because when there's nothing left to achieve, the only thing left is to figure out what winning even means. That's when his ideas started to shift into something uniquely psychological. What's interesting is, at some point his entire identity collapses into one rule: worth equals superiority. His brain, running on that idea, wanted only one thing: to win at all costs. At first, it was just a mindset, but then it became a role, and eventually it became a part of his identity. Not because winning felt good, but because it kept everything in check. But that's when the worst possible thing happens. The Death Note actually lands in front of him. Keep in mind, this is a guy who thinks he's superior to everyone else. He doesn't really understand how the book works, and he's actually pretty curious about it. Because of that curiosity, he decides to test it out on a criminal, as if he's running a little experiment. When the man actually dies, his first reaction is just, now? What's going to happen? His brain had already stopped seeing other people as fully real. And then he drops the line that pretty much confirms it. In episode 1, he says,
In fact, I'm the only one who can.
He doesn't even think about whether someone else might use the notebook responsibly. Like, the idea doesn't even cross his mind. That's a classic example of what adolescent psychology calls the personal fable. That deep, irrational belief that you're uniquely chosen and the rules everyone else follows just don't apply to you. Light had been living with that mindset long before he ever found the notebook. So what I'm saying is, the notebook didn't create the problem, it just gave it a place to go. And you know what? It only gets worse from here. While the problem is that this trap keeps luring him in, those so-called wins don't actually help him settle down. Honestly, I think success just speeds things up. Every time Light outsmarts the police or every time his name makes the newspaper the next morning, his brain gets a shot of chemicals that tells him, yes, you're right, you're special. You're exactly who you think you are. Like in a feedback loop, that first win becomes the baseline. Each new win raises the bar for what it needs to feel normal. Those wins stop proving he's capable. They become the only thing keeping his identity intact. He can't afford to lose. And it's not because losing would be risky strategically, but because it would mean the core belief he's built his whole identity on is wrong. If that belief falls apart, there's nothing left to support him. Watch what happens to everyone around him. Misa Amane is totally devoted to him. She'd do anything without hesitation, and he's completely aware of it. Like someone knows they can rely on a tool, so he uses her. He hands over murder missions to her just like delegating paperwork. She's a resource with feelings, which he sometimes finds annoying. Then there's Rem, a Shinigami, a creature born of death with no real sense of morality, who looks at what Light is doing and finds it disgusting, revolting even. But Light doesn't even notice. The emotional reactions of those beneath him just data to him now. And you know why? Because his brain stopped paying attention to them a long time ago. He eventually stops doing things himself. Instead, he delegates everything to Mikami, Takeda, or anyone willing to serve. He presents this as a kind of elevation, like gods who don't get their hands dirty with execution. At the same time, Light's mindset becomes more and more unsettling. Every layer of delegation creates more distance between him and what's actually happening on the ground, making that gap between his mental image and reality grow silently without him realizing. Delegation was supposed to be power, but really, it was just a fragile way for him to avoid being tested directly. He walks into the final confrontation with the blind certainty, as if he can't even consider any other possibility. His mind has been so conditioned by years of the same reinforcement that failure has become literally unthinkable. That's when Yeager gets curious, flips the notebook, and suddenly, what Yeager sees is a reality it can't quite make sense of. The next moment in the series is honestly the most revealing. Sure, Light loses, but what really matters is how he loses. Let's take a step back. He's yelling and blaming at Mikami, scrambling to find exits that aren't even there anymore. Then he turns to Ryuk, like their relationship was more than just a spectator watching some experiment play out. Like a creature that told him from day one how this would end and stuck to his word without battling an eye. That's when reality hits him hard. The god mask just falls apart, leaving nothing underneath. Can you believe that? There's no identity, no self, no foundation that exists outside of being Kira. Just a person who built every bit of his sense of self on a single belief, only to watch that belief crumble in front of a room full of witnesses. It empties you out so completely that when your identity finally falls apart, you've got nothing left to prove. Going back to the analogy we started with, I'd say Light probably won the chess match. But in the end, he lost the only version of himself he ever built upon. If you break it down, what happened to Light is pretty much what happens when someone's overly confident self-image goes unchecked for a long time and then they're given all the power to speed up their own downfall. There's the constant need to be the smartest person in the room, be chosen, irreplaceable, and always validated by standing above everyone else. The sad part is, some people are just born that way, or they're wired for it. Light's story is what you get when you chase that forever without any friction, humility, honesty from others, or anything to catch you if you fall. He needed someone early on to tell him his worth wasn't something he constantly had to earn. But that chat never took place, and you can feel the lack of it rippling through every part of his story. If this one hit home for you, the next video dives even deeper into the minds of anime's most self-destructive characters. There's a lot more psychological territory to explore, and you definitely won't want to miss it. Until next time.